What's good, YouTube? It's your boy vexyz, the Lurking Legend, aka Wikipedia, but you can just call me Vex. Welcome, and thank you all for joining us again, as tonight we dive into a new session of our online role-playing adventure set in the world of One Piece. Before we get started, I just wanted to say if you're interested in checking out the World Economic newspaper clippings and cover stories written by yours truly, you can find those in the most recent ones of those and the bounty posters that just got revealed recently on the Twitter page, link in the description. Stick around to the end of each session to catch me reading the previous session's cover story, but if you want to stay up to date and see the ones that just dropped tonight, you can go check that out at twitter.com/pirates_scarlet. If you're enjoying this series so far, please do us all a huge favor, like, share, and subscribe so you can catch us each week as we go live. That really helps everyone who makes these streams possible. Shout out to The Last Arc. Please go support the homies. Links in the description as well. They helped us set all of this up. And if you're wanting to be a DM or a player in your own One Piece D&D campaign, go check out the link of the Discord in the description. The Discord has been absolutely popping lately, and there's a lot of great stuff going on in there. And you'll be able to catch all of the announcements for The Last Arc as they are made. We've got a few big announcements I wanted to shout out. Tomorrow, doing a stream with Tainted Marth and Andy Lex. It's going to be absolute fire. And then we actually have OPU featuring TLA this week over on Marshall D Preach's channel, which is going to be huge. And then a game show this Saturday. So if you want any info on all of that and then some, definitely check out the link to the Discord in the description. Get in a part of the discussion and whatnot, and it's definitely Last Arc is taken off, absolutely. But that's enough from me. Let's hear it from some of our wonderful players. I understand that Ragnar is having mic issues tonight, but if you want to hop in the Roll20 chat, tell us how you're feeling. We've got Ragnar, aka Lord Vegeta, playing Lord Azrael with us tonight. So hyped to have you here. We also have we are joined by the W Helmsman himself, Mikey D, aka Torimori, playing Davos. How you doing tonight, brother? I'm hype, and yes, like Lord Azrael said in the chat, like de-stream and repent. I love that. We are also joined by we got King Calm himself with us. It's NoChill Dill, played by NoChill Phil, aka Duty Kong, Duty Gong, formerly Hat D Tori, the man with so many names I can't even keep up. How are you doing, brother? Great. I don't know how you didn't just peek your mic. That's wild. Yeah, absolutely. Much appreciated there, bro. We unfortunately will not be joined by Partypete, aka Percules, who normally plays Bang D Boom with his trusty cannon companion. Oh man, it rhymed at first, but I messed it up. He's not feeling too well, so everybody please put in the chat, that we were wanting him to get better soon. I will be piloting his character tonight. And we will be tentatively joined by the future queen of the pirates herself, Scarlet, played by Balincc, as soon as he gets his power situation figured out. But I've been told there's a bit of a power outage going on right now. But we're still here holding it down for the #1 crew in town, Group 2 solos. Are you guys like super hyped to get into it tonight? What do you think is gonna be going down? Man, Dill with his devil fruit. I'm so confused. Alright, sorry, give me just 1 second, guys. I don't know what happens every time. Let me figure it out. It's cool, you guys didn't miss much. Dill, you're gonna have to do that sick laugh again, though. Oh wait, you were Denden's mom? That's crazy. Sorry guys, I'm trying to get this figured out. Dude, the source isn't even popping up on my... Oh, it's because TLA changed their name. Try talking now, you guys. The Discord name. Yeah, okay, cool. Yeah, because it's now it's called TLA is thankful, so it completely didn't recognize like the previous link. That's funny. Okay, but they should be able to hear you guys now. Thanks, Human, for letting us know. Really appreciate that. But yeah, Dill, do that crazy laugh again. That was sick.
Give me 1 second.
One.
Yo!
Bro. The hype. Now that King Calm has deactivated his Devil Fruit and I've got my shit together, we should be all good to get into it. Where we last left off, the Scarlet Pirates had taken on a full fleet, a full like flock of these Rust-wing falcons. Which they were told were apex predators within the Red Spine, this whole stretch of mountains here in the Red Sand Desert. I can drag y'all over to where we were. If it loads. Oh man, that took forever. I hope that didn't take that long on stream. But yeah, you guys were kind of bonfiring it up, taking different shifts on watch, interacting with some of the NPCs. Is there anything that you guys didn't get to say last time that you thought about and cooked on and whatnot that you wanted to get out before everything gets going? We'll say that a night did pass. You guys got like a full night's rest. It was pretty chilly, but there was like a campfire and people, you know, taking shifts watching. A few animals did see the smoke and smell the blood and encroached in, but it was nothing that, you know, whoever was on watch couldn't take down with ease, you know. If there was nothing that you guys were wanting to say, oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna go have a discussion with the other Azrael.
Oh, the big man. All right, yeah, he and Bang D Boom spent some time plucking bird talons and beaks and figuring out ways to fashion weapons with those.
Hey, were y'all thinking of making some weapons?
He's just like, Brother Dill, that's pretty much always what I'm thinking about.
I was just thinking about it because these guys, they put a whopping on. They were not pushovers at all.
He's like, yeah, you got a real number done on you. I'm glad we got you all patched up. I wish some of our crew were feeling, you know, as good as you. I've never seen somebody, you know, heal up so fast. That's crazy.
It's partially because I'm not just a body.
He goes, yeah, I gotta keep telling the ladies that too. You know, I'm more than just a piece of meat, you know. And he like brushes off his shoulder with his knuckles a little bit, like tooting his own horn, like.
Okay. What do you think about using those for the feathers of an arrow?
He's, oh wow, yeah. I mean, I've definitely done a few custom jobs before for our guy Russ over there. You know, last time we got, you know, had to take on some of these falcons. They're pretty sizable feathers. I might have to trim them down, but yeah, I can do that.
Because I was thinking the glass tips with their claws as the flight's feathers, those would make a pretty good hole in whatever you're shooting at.
He's like, yeah, the glass arrows really do some contact damage, and using these feathers as fletchings, that's a pretty good idea. They're pretty stern and stiff, and you get a lot of wind underneath them. It's crazy how much those birds actually weigh. My arms almost got sore, and he like flexes his biceps and stuff like that.
Yeah, I was wondering why those birds were still moving.
As you're kind of doing that, Enid and Kama are both gonna kind of walk up. Whoa, she's not sideways. And they're both like they're both looking really beat up still, because they took, I think, the most damage throughout the whole fight, except for Dill, who actually went down. But they don't have remarkable recovery feats like you, brother. And Kama kind of nods at Azra, and it's just like so remember what we talked about? And Azra's like, yeah, I support it. It's if that's the decision you want. I understand. You guys aren't in the right space to travel right now. Go ahead and get back to town, and tell the others we're doing fine. But these Scarlet Pirates here asked for our help, and those of us that are able, we're gonna come through for them. And Enid and Kama both kind of like nod, and they hop on a camel. There are actually 2 camels that took on a surprising amount of damage and are also not fit for travel, being sand. And one of the other like 10 camels, give me just a second to find the one with the least. Yeah, Bell got tore up, if y'all remember. The rest of the camels are in like prime traveling, like physique and whatnot. But these camels are definitely not feeling up to it, and those that are not fit to travel should definitely not encroach into a hostile territory. So these people are going to be making their way back to the port. I see we got Ragnar typing in the chat. So yeah, Seabass, he's just kind of like chewing on some like tumbleweed and like rag root and stuff like that, and he's just kind of like got like lethargic eyes, and he's just gnawing. You can see his bottom jaw just going in this like slackish circular motion as you talk to him, Lord Azrael. He doesn't even really make eye contact with you. He's just kind of like stoically staring off towards the sunrise. Bang D Boom was also making like some weapons and whatnot with Azra, and he for a moment thinks about like also heading to back to town, because he's been wanting to work on the boat and stuff like that. But he's definitely gonna slide for whatever the captain says. And if you guys decided last time y'all do in fact want to take on the glass house, that's what he's gonna do. The only 2 that are like critically injured are gonna be these 2 right here, Kama and Enid, and yeah, they're going to send good word to the rest of the people and whatnot. Dalt Wisney walks over, and she's just like, you guys be safe, and here, and she like picks up a little baby snake that was like crawling from underneath some of the boulders and stuff like that, and she hands it to Enid, and she's like, I'm leaving a message with the snake. Like once you get back, just set it loose and it'll come find us. And it'll let us know that you got there safely. And she just kind of like whispers, and the snake just like looks like super happy, and it's like flickering its tongue out of its mouth and like wagging its like little tail, and it's just doing a little dance.
I'm right nearby, so I think Davos sees that, and he just says like, how the hell are you doing that?
Well, yeah, like I said, Baba was teaching me how to be the next speaker of the tribe, and I've always had just like a way with communicating with the animals, especially around this desert. That's how all of these camels became such good friends of ours. They all did such a good job too. And she's like she starts to like blush a bit. she doesn't really talk about her gifts to many people. Everyone in the tribe just kind of knows that she was getting trained by the Baba to be the next speaker of the tribe. I think Scarlet is gonna like walk up and she's just like, you know what? I want to try that. And she like starts looking through some of the rocks and like looking for like a little snake. And she's just kind of doing her own thing for a bit.
Hey, adult, are there any venomous snakes out here?
She's like, oh yeah, literally all of them. And she's like, it's just about like, you know, what kind of venom, you know, and how you gotta treat it. Some of them we can treat with some of the different cactus juices. And Samia chimes in and she's like, yeah, it's the ones where you can only find the anti-venom in another predator are the worst ones. And Samia's like, yeah, you'd be surprised, but like you putting a little bit of wasp venom in a spider bite, you know, actually does a little bit to counteract each other, because it's a natural defense mechanism. They don't want to be vulnerable to each other's toxins. So there's anti-venoms within their own venoms. But you got to be really careful of the dosage, otherwise you're just doubly screwed. Lord Azrael says to Seabass, who wants to do their best Lord Azrael voice? Because I don't know if I'm comfortable reading this.
I likes you, and I wants you. Now we can do this the easy way or the hard way. The choice is yours.
I like how you got like 1920s like gangster with it. That's the is you is or is you ain't, my baby. Seabass again doesn't even make eye contact with you, and then he just like sneezes, and some of the scatter shot gets on one of your forearms, Lord Azrael. And then he just goes back and digging through some of the dirt and rocks to find more like little roots and weeds to start chewing on. There seems to be a good amount of like fauna, you know, in this like barren seeming desert just under the surface. Oh my god, stop. Let's not roll anything from Ragnar, please. That is not a canon stat block yet. But yeah, after like talking to Enid, I'm sorry, talking to Samia and Dalt a little bit, you referred to the captain, Davos. What did you say? I'm sorry.
Just about like all the like venomous talk we were having, I just called out and said, "You hear that, Captain? Don't get bitten."
And the captain is just like seeing snakes like run away, and she's like, "No, come back. Where are you going?" And she just kind of doesn't really like hear. It kind of goes in one ear and out the other. Dalt is like walks over to Scarlet and it's just like Miss Scarlet. I'm sorry, Captain Scarlet. I was thinking that if we were going to try to go into the Glass House's territory, I think the safest way would to be abandon the mountain route, since we're now, you know, well off the trail. We could go the way that Davos and I came and head back towards the river. That would be the fastest for the camels, I think, and probably easier on all of us, because we wouldn't be cornered from the sky like we were, you know. We'd have a good eye shot of everything. And she like looks around at everyone else and is like, what do you all think? And Scarlet just kind of crosses her arms and is like, yeah, what do you all think? Like,
I think we
Davos-
should play into their trap.
you care to elaborate?
Well, Davos and Dalt got technically kidnapped because he can control the camels. Why not just stay on the camels until he controls the camels?
Like, well, it got pretty cold last night. If that guy was passed out, you know, all the way to the dead of night, I'm not really sure if it's a guarantee that he's really still out there. You know,
I smack my fist into my hand and interrupt Dalt, and I go, "Maybe he froze in that barrel."
Yeah.
Unlikely there's no water in it. But good thinking.
Adults like, I don't know what the water has to. There's like no water almost anywhere in the desert. But yeah, like I think that he also doesn't have his you call them transponder snails, right? Davos has it. So I mean, it's not likely that he would have been able to make it back to rally reinforcements in this short amount of time. So I think, and she kind of like firms her like fist and clenches it and puts it in front of her chest and everything. She's like, I can do this. Like, you can ask Davos. I was able to snap the camels out of it for the most part. I'll do better this time. And with Scarlet here, and she like grabs both of Scarlet's hands, and Scarlet's like, whoa, what do you want me to do? Like, Russ will step forward, and he's like, I'm 100% with you. Anything to keep my sister safe. I'm going wherever you go. And then he looks at like the rest of you guys, and Bangdy Booms like and Azrael are both kind of looking at Dill, and they're like, "What's the matter? You scared, brother Dill?"
No.
So these four are going to start taking off, and they give you all their best wishes and whatnot. But they're headed back to town, and they can tell your crewmates and the rest of the nomads and the townsfolk and whatnot of your efforts here in the Red Sand Desert. But they are going to straight dip with the more wounded camels, just going at a more lax pace and whatnot, because it is a shorter journey to get back into town, and again, they don't want to be walking into enemy territory. Everyone else here though is game to go fuck some shit up at the glass house, right?
Yep.
I brought my bricks.
My goodness. So you guys will then start to travel out of the wreckage and through the gorge. I'm gonna go ahead and drag you guys to this map here, and we'll just use Ragnar as a placeholder for where y'all are at, which will be at the very bottom. And you can see like the two jutting up mountains, like high on each side of you, kind of shedding shade all over. Let me fix this. There we go. And yeah, as you guys start to approach, you remember Davos, you've kind of trekked this path with Dalt before, and the camels are going a little bit slower now this time, just because they haven't, they some of them got like legitimately effed up, you know. But you remember passing by a pretty wide, expansive like gap, and now something seems a bit unfamiliar to you as you see a crater that you before did not see when you came through here with the camels and with Dalt Wisney.
Oh, what the hell is that?
And this looks like a pretty sizable crater. And Dalt looks kind of confused, and she's just like, wait a second, yeah, this wasn't here. Like, and she like looks up in the sky and like uses her hand to like, visor over, like she puts it by her brow to like block out some of the sun rays that are peeking through the peaks of the mountain. But she doesn't like see anything high in the sky. She's just like, what could have caused this?
There's nothing at the bottom of the crater and maybe under the sand?
If you guys would like, we can do some investigation checks. Let me actually look at Scarlet's sheet really quickly, because I don't know if she has proficiency in that, but if so, she can help out whoever wants to roll.
Dill, what have you got for that?
I have proficiency in investigation.
Oh, let's go. Okay. I have
Scarlet does
nothing.
not. Let me look at Bang D Boom really quickly.
I am gonna cast the help action.
You can't. You're gonna use the help action.
Yeah.
It's not like a
Cast.
spell, but yeah, I get you.
My only semblance of a spell other than my devil fruit. Let me have it.
Oh my god. Okay. So let's see. Wow, that is well, you rolled persuasion, I guess, to persuade me. Right? No, I'm kidding. Like a 19 is very good though. Give me just a second to check something.
The help spell.
Help spell is OP, actually. That's what we found out here, guys. So a 19 is super solid. You are actually going to notice that this doesn't seem fresh, Dill. Like Dalt and Davos are saying. This seems like there's a lot of caked on like sediment. You would be shocked to find out that this was new, like they're saying. This looks actually pretty old, and you can see that there are like plants growing and things like, and that kind of stuff does not happen overnight. You're not able to notice anything like too specific, except for maybe some like desiccated like remains and animal carcasses and things like that, and like bones. And even some like calcified, like partially like fossilized, like pieces of animals and even humans as well. So this is definitely older than one night. That's what you get off of a 19.
There's some sort of trickery here. I don't like this.
I feel like we should avoid this.
Davos is like looking at the hills and any sort of like craggy rocks and ambush points now. He's like thinking of that guy in the barrel and wondering if he like is watching them and tracking them now.
Big Azrael is going to be like kind of crossing his arms and stroking his chin with his fingers. He's like, this is strange. You know, I heard a long time ago that there was a map maker. You know, he was trying to plot out the deserts, and he brought a whole surveyor's party, and it seemed that all of his maps, you know, looked completely different. People called him mad, but he said that maybe this is why Baba told us to stay away from this corner. Definitely doesn't seem right. And he like looks at Dalt Wiz and he's like, and you're sure this wasn't here, right? And she's like, I'm sure of it. Like, just ask Davos.
It wasn't here, I can confirm.
She starts to confer with all of the camels as well. And she's just like, right? And like all the camels start to nod, and one of them's like itching its like head with its hoof, like and like all of them look pretty confused.
I feel like we should avoid this.
You just shot a short bow.
Oh, my bad.
You're just throwing random attacks, like on guard, like like.
I'm on mobile.
No, it's fine. It's fine.
So carry on.
Russ will also chime in, and he's just like, yeah, I've heard that, you know, Baba said a while back when we were kids, and he like nudges, you know, Dalt on the shoulder, like, you can't trust the rivers here or even the coasts. And you know, she also went on and said something about like curses and, you know, never trust water and like all this other, but like that. Yeah, I guess it would make sense that parts of this place get rearranged a bit. This is weird. And he's like, but yeah, you're right, brother Dill. We should just keep going, right?
Yes.
So you guys are curious but leaving it alone and heading out full speed ahead to peel around the corner and head like more north, like this way, hugging the base of this one mountain. And Davos and Dalt and the camels recall that there was an old ruins in between this gorge and where the river was. And as you guys emerge, you will actually see like a vast, expansive, like a sandscape. And it seems that these ruins have also shifted a little bit since you were last here. Davos, you will immediately recall that it seems like almost none of this looks the same. Dalt Wisney is kind of speechless as you guys come into view of these megaliths protruding out of the ground and just some weird like ziggurat style like pyramid and like pillars that have been wrecked. And yeah, she's kind of speechless. And Lord Azra's like, wow, look at, or I'm sorry, not Lord Azra, Big Azra. He's just like, look at all the stuff that can be weapons. And he's like got like sparkles in his eyes.
Davos is looking around so and
Davos, go ahead and give me a history check. I will give you advantage.
okay.
Because Dalt is also like helping you piece some things together.
If I didn't know any better, this almost feels like a different ruin altogether.
Yeah, 19 again. There's some consistency tonight. Oh yeah, you see a good amount of plant life, Lord Azrael. Specifically, like, it's mostly cacti. You're noticing that you're out of the 1,000-year valley, so to speak, like where all of the 1,000-year plants were, and the further away you get from the mountains, the less of it you see. But you definitely see different kinds of cacti, like beaver tail cacti, pin cushions, some Joshua trees. Shout out to Joshua, happy birthday! It's another member of the last arc. But you see, you see a bunch of different cacti. Specifically, there seems to be like circular patterns, like kind of like spilling out from this taller middle piece, the pyramid in the middle. You do also see just a massive, like congested area of these cacti climbing up out of like what looks to be like a well. Like a ground well, you know, leading to groundwater, possibly. There's just a ton of cacti, which you can see right here, where I pinged. So that's like the biggest nexus of plant life here on the map. As you start to walk in, as you enter in between, like the big like megaliths here, sticking like kind of straight up, kind of angled and whatnot, the winds start to change. Davos, with your 19, you and Dalt Wisney are looking around. You do not recognize any of this, but you do know that this is exactly where the other ruins were by the timelining and, you know, by like the distance from the mountains and everything like that. And she's just like, something about this isn't really right. Like I've heard of people going crazy in the desert, but I didn't in all my life. And she like starts to kind of like panic and freak out a little bit. Scarlet is just kind of like this is so cool. Like she's just hype. Yeah, she's just hype right now. And Bang D Boom is probably helping out Azra, looking for some things that can be weapons. Samia and Russ are kind of on the more analytical, and Russ is just trying to be protective, and he's like looking at the big rocks and stuff like that, and Samia is like paying attention to the wind, specifically. Yeah, is there anything on this map that anyone specifically would like to try to check out in more detail? I see big Lord Azrael, it seems to be definitely focused in on the well, right? What are you looking at specifically, Dill?
In the middle pyramid.
Okay. Yeah, you can see that it looks ancient. This looks even older than that crater, and you can see roots, this thing it looks like it's been undergrown by plants that are hiding themselves from full sun exposure and things like that. There are pillars, some of which are collapsed, and there's a bunch of debris and things like that. With a 23, you will notice what seems to be it doesn't really look like you're not confident, but it looks like some sort of writing. But a lot of the rock has been chipped away, and whatever language it was in, it wouldn't be legible even if you spoke it, probably, or could read it, because this has been weathered by the ages of time and things like that. You also notice with the 23 a glare as the sun beams down, and you've left the cover from the mountains and whatnot. There is a beam of light that just seems to be refracting straight off of something at the very top and shining directly into your eye. Samia is talking to Lord Azrael, and she's just like, "Oh, whoa, be careful, be careful. These are really not fun ones to try to treat. Their needles, if you touch them, they actually shoot outwards. These are called crazy cacti, and they cause severe hallucinations and dehydration. Take too many of these and they will kill you. I don't know if we have enough water to really. This is a lot." She's like, "I've never seen this before. Them so tightly knit together." And she looks at Lord Azrael, and she's just like, "This place is so strange. Have you ever seen anything like it?" She's heard some of your stories of your travels, Lord Azrael, and that you've seen some fantastical places yourself. But yeah, these are motion sensitive, basically spike cannon cacti, and if you touch them, or if the wind bothers them too much, they will just eject needles in every which direction. Or jettison needles or whatever. Russ is following Davos. He's like, "Hey, wait, I think we shouldn't go separating or anything like that." And Scarlet is with was with Dalt Wisney, so he's cool leaving her to her and going and watching after you. These guys are checking out the pebbles and the wreckage and things like that. But Russ is like, "So these aren't the ruins that you guys saw?"
It can't be. There's too much different. I mean, this pyramid alone, I don't remember anything like this. And look at the rock formation. Look at how it's like a square or a diamond. It's very unusual here, isn't it? I get an uneasy feeling.
And he's like, "Have you noticed about the wind?" And he kind of looks up, and he's seeing that obviously there's no real cloud coverage, as this place is devoid of precipitation for reportedly over 100 years, a couple hundred years maybe. There's rarely clouds. There's almost never rain. But he notices that the wind seems to be playing tricks, and it's strange. If I had to guess, I'd say that the wind is almost being repelled by these strange stones or something like that. But it's unreal, because, and he pulls out an arrow and looks at the fletchings and kind of flicks them a little bit. He's like, it seems that inside of this little ring here, the wind is completely stopped. I've never seen anything like this.
It's most unusual.
Dill's having fun over there. 19 stealth, I think, beats everybody's passive. What are you trying to do, brother?
At this point, I was trying to figure out a way to get on top of the pyramid without having to climb up the side of it.
Yeah, you with your 23 before, you got a good ocular pat down and you're able to notice there is some stairs on the opposite end of it that they seem to be a little bit worse for wear but still traversable. It wouldn't be like as treacherous of a climb, you know. But it seems to be partially blocked by another fallen pillar, much like the one that you're on right now. So it would be like over on this side. 17 is actually more than enough to get to where you're going anywhere on here, except for maybe the top of the megaliths. But you can definitely get up the stairs with that. But it's kind of like rough terrain, so it takes you a little bit longer than you were anticipating. Azra, he didn't see you, but he saw what was causing the glare, and he immediately starts climbing it, and he is going to just climb right up this corner. Like with no regard or like any carefulness or anything.
I tried to jump on his back.
He's just like, where'd you come from? Like, he starts getting freaked out. Bang D Boom is yeah, he seems to be like keeping his guard up and whatnot, and he's like making sure to check y'all six and everything like that. He's like, y'all don't break anything up there. Like, but yeah, as you and Big Azra reach the top here, you notice. I'll zoom in on the stream so they can see it as well. It seems to be a sundial that has been pierced by a great sword. He's got his jaw is just slacked. He's in awe right now, and he's like looking at the quality of the blade. He's like, "What in the world? There's not a speck of rust on this thing. Look at how old all this is. That's impossible."
It looks immaculate. Azrael, you should help me get it.
He's like, "I was thinking the same thing," and he nods. And he is going to like put a hand on it, and he's like, yeah. When I say pull, we both pull." And he's like, "This is almost like a fairy tale, right? Like, heard like." And he talks about like some esoteric like old king that used to like have a sacred sword or something like that. Oh wow! So you're trying to use AI jutsu to like I love the flavor on this. This is amazing. So I'm gonna give him advantage, and I'm gonna have big ol' Azra do, let me see, hold on one second. I will have him do an athletics because he's big strong, and I will give him advantage on that actually because I love that flavor. All right, here we go.
Oh yeah.
Oh my god. That is literally the exact number. This was meant to be a nearly impossible DC. That is so crazy. Yo, W's in chat. That is insane. Oh, wow. Hold on. I gotta think. I didn't know if this was actually gonna happen.
Is that our highest roll so far?
Yeah, I don't think anyone else has the ability to hit 30 yet because y'all's proficiency isn't high enough to get to a plus 10. You know, like this guy's absolutely built like a brick shit house though. So wow. Scarlet is like cheering you guys on as this is happening with Dalt Wisney, and they're just like, do it. They're just like, yeah, like don't be a bitch. Like they're just like at the ground level, like chanting for you guys. And as with Dill's, help and his masterful new technique that he learned, big ol' Azra is going to grab with both hands and try to just like yeet this thing out of the sundial. And as he pulls with all of his might, the ground beneath you two starts to crumble, and he successfully lifts the sword up into the sky over his head. Dill, make another acrobatics, and we're gonna see how you handle this crumbling ground beneath you. What's interesting enough is that the entire sundial that the sword was plunged into has also been yeeted and plucked straight out of the ground as the structural integrity of this pyramid starts to like crumble beneath. This is not just a great sword. This is a great sword with a gigantic like 5x5 like couple 100-pound sundial / pedestal attached to it. So this weapon actually is impossible to wield by probably anybody except the two Azras, and it does no slashing damage. It only does bludgeoning damage because it is a giant piece of stone. That is crazy. Let me cover this part of the map up with some. Well, it won't be Scarlet, but it'll be something. Go for this color. But yeah, so he just like plucks this thing out and like he does like a mighty yell. I'm sorry, what are you asking?
No, I was saying if I don't have advantage, I got a 22 on my roll.
Oh, that's plenty, dude. That is good. But yeah, he just completely like yoinked this thing out of the ground. And the pyramid starts to collapse a bit centrally, but the borders still seem to be fine. You like I don't know how you want to flavor it, like you backflip out of there and like land on your feet, like stick the landing, like get a 10 out of 10 on the Olympic scale, like I don't know, like but you're fine. He falls flat backwards on his ass because he is not like gracious whatsoever, but he's just still holding the sword like high above his head in the sky, seeing the gleam off of the bits of the blade that are not completely stuck inside of this apparently ridiculously durable sundial that it's like a big stone chunk at the end of this sword. He swings it a few times. He's like, well, I want to get off, like like what's going on?
I reach down and I grab his hand to offer him a hand to stand up.
And he's like, thanks, and he like pulls to try, and like you're not able to hold all of his weight, and literally unless this guy rolls a 2, you will be knocked prone by this. So let me turn off advantage.
I had 10 on dice.
Oh my god. So yeah, he like grabs your hand, he's like thanks, and he like pulls you to the ground as he gets up, and you're like knocked prone, and you take 1 point of unintentional strike damage. Scarlet is like her eyes are like affixed on this sword. She's like, wow, and he's like he looks at like Scarlet's weapon that also got completely demolished, and he remembers his weapon that was disintegrated by the rust user, and he sees that Scarlet, you know, with her weapon that's bent up and in the shape of a C, he's like here, you should have it. This will replace, you know, your banged up blade there. I think you really should have it. And I'm going to roll for Scarlet. Outside of a crit, I don't know, man. Oh no, yeah. She like reaches her hand out, and as she tries to like hold this sword, like it just completely falls to the ground with like her arm just like completely buckles under the weight, and she's just like, nah, you could hold on to it for now, but thank you. Like I really appreciate that. Lord Azrael and this is not her name. I don't know why that's like on the. Let me fix that. But Lord Azrael and Samia. This is gonna take some delicate work if you're wanting to try to harvest any of this. There we go. So she can obviously assist you, but you can kind of see her hands are shaking a little bit because this is potentially deadly. He said, but it must be done. What is your prerogative here? You just want to try to like harvest a bunch of the poison, or like you as you inspect it a little bit more, you can kind of notice in between some of the gaps in the little weaving, the netting of deadly cacti here, and the arms protruding in between and around each other. This well goes pretty deep. She's kind of thinking of like a delicate way to handle the situation without like putting anyone's life in jeopardy. She's like, well, if you're looking to get an entire specimen, we'll need to make sure that we pluck it from the root. And these things have really, really, really tough roots. They're anchored in there pretty good. They need to be able to withstand sandstorms. That's actually kind of what triggers them, because normal winds aren't strong enough to vibrate the stalks enough to make the pins explode outwards. But in a sandstorm, these things start going crazy. This is why you never want to be caught in the cactus belt whenever there's a sandstorm coming. It's the most deadly place in the desert, possibly. She's like, these are rarely found outside of the cactus belt, which is another crazy thing. Like, but there's a lot more over there. This is, and she's just like, this whole corner of the desert is so strange. I wonder how much of this Baba knew about. Yeah, it is an interesting opportunity, but I and she's like thinking, she's like, hey, big Azra, do you think, with that big sword, you might be able to like dig a hole under, like we can see, like if we can get underneath the well, maybe? Because if we can take out the roots and maybe start a chain reaction from the bottom, if all of you take cover, I think all of the needles will eject and none of us will get harmed. And, they should grow back pretty shortly, but we would have enough time to transport them, maybe. He just kind of jumps on over here, and he's just like, so you just want me to hit the ground a lot really hard? She's like, sure. How does that sound? How does that sound, Lord Azra?
Or you could put a cork in it. Put the stone on top of the well.
Oh, I see you. So he's analyzing right now, Lord Azrael in the chat. He says we can't risk tricking the needles, and he doesn't want to do the go underground way. Davos, what are your thoughts on the situation?
Yeah, I've always heard the old legend, don't go into a well, so it's kind of a pass from me, guys.
Bang D Boom is like holding his like cannon buddy. He's just like, what if we just blast it? Like,
That is also.
I guess it fails to be a well at that point. I could be into it, I could be into it then.
I think Ragnar is typing up like a book in the chat right now. Like,
That's why I hate typing anything, because I'll sit there and type for 10 minutes.
but yeah, Scarlet and Dalt Wisney don't really know like the whole like what's the best way to go. So yeah, if you'd want to dig it up, you'd need to go to the bottom for sure. So I mean, Yeah, a big Azra is he's just like, so I mean, yeah, like digging a like a hole like straight down right next to it. That would be the best bet, right? And then you can just go swimming down when I find water. Someone's gonna have to fish me back up though. And yeah, like Dalt Wisney's like, oh yeah. Let's tie some of our ropes together. We don't really know how far down it goes. And they start to fashion like a longer like a at least like 100 feet 150 feet of rope, and they tie it around Lord Azra, or I'm sorry, Big Azra's waist. He's like, you sure this stuff's gonna hold? And Dalt's just like, of course it is, I braided it myself, you know you can trust me. And she kind of like smiles. So yeah, I think Big Azra and Lord Azra are going to start to just like wailing into the ground with a sickle and just a gigantic, massive like sword / sundial combo here. I'm gonna say you can easily do it. The ground, I'm not gonna make you roll attacks. Like you're not gonna miss the ground, I don't think. But it's just a matter of how much time it takes. So, Ragnar, if you would please roll me a D100, because I love a good D100 roll. I will roll one for Big Azra. 62, not bad. Okay, so altogether that adds up to what, 95? That's okay. Just below average. He is getting a little bit more tired than he thought, wielding this massive bludgeoning weapon. He's like, wow, this thing, it's got some heft to it, but it really does feel good in your hands. And he's like clenching his fists. It takes you guys maybe about like, I would say like at least a half an hour, maybe 45 minutes or so. Like it takes a good chunk of time. While that is happening, is there anything else anyone here wants to say? Or how any other interactions that they'd like to be done? Anything else you guys want to investigate? Dalt for sure is going to ask Scarlet to come check out some of the scripts, the scriptures over here. You break your sickle on the ground. Or everyone gets stuck. Yeah, that would be hilarious, bro. As far as let me see. Oh yeah, let's zoom out a little bit. My bad. Sorry, stream. I'm scuffed at this two screens thing. And then Dill's off screen as usual. It's fine.
I'm hiding behind the pillar so that way I don't get shot with a needle.
I think you would probably be the person least afraid of dealing with like poison intravenously, though, right? Which is the funniest thing.
No, I'm not worried about the poison. I'm worried about just getting pincushioned with needles.
But yeah, so Dalt Wisney's gonna ask Scarlet, and she's just like, this is weird. Have you ever seen anything like this? And Scarlet is like kind of just like nodding no as she like squints and like leans forward to like look at some of the writing on the wall, what remains of the wall. And she's like, but I bet you can kind of make out what it says too, can't you? And Scarlet's like, what? And I'm gonna have Scarlet roll a history check. Actually, yeah, history check. As she like squints and like looks at it a little bit, runs her hand over it, she is going to she can recognize like maybe one or two of the symbols out of a few of them here. She's like, oh, sorry, I just thought, because you kind of have a way with animals as well, like that you might be able. This text looks familiar to me, but I don't think I've ever seen it. It's almost like, and she kind of squints and she starts reading and she says, LxrD. That's what it says right here. You can't see that? And that's how it's spelled. if anyone's taking notes. And she's just like, this is apparently some sort of temple to, I guess, a god? Or some sort of figure. This has got to be ancient, though. I think, there's mythologies talking about. There's no way, though. Like that stuff isn't real. And she just kind of like isn't finishing some of her sentences and looks like super confused. And I'm gonna roll an insight for Scarlet right after I check my DMs real quick. No, I'm good right now. I'm gonna roll an insight for Scarlet. And anyone within earshot will also be able to do so.
Good,
23, not bad. Yeah, 23 is pretty solid. Scarlet is like, oh wow, another 23. But I don't know if you had advantage.
I don't know if I don't have proficiency with it.
But Scarlet's like, well, think about it. This is all pretty weird, right? Like, maybe you shouldn't believe everything you're told, but maybe there's some things that you should believe, referring to the myth. And she's like, what was this god you were talking about? And Dalt's like, oh, there's no way. Like, there was talk of a sun god that blessed this place and forever is present, and that's why this place has been hit by such a drought. It was, some of the tellings are that it's a curse, some of them are that it's a blessing, and Baba, always made sure to tell us it was a curse. And that's why this place, rarely has any cold water or stable footing or anything of the sort. This land, we've been blessed, but she always said that this land is cursed. But this seems to be to the contrary. And she's like super like, pensive and looking at her surroundings and studying and taking it all in. Yeah, so Ragnar, if you want, roll me a history with advantage. For a bit, you were definitely preoccupied with the well, but they made a whole lot of noise over by the structure, and your eyes might have darted over there for a bit. Let me see your best history roll with advantage, brother.
I'd argue I would have advantage, though.
I don't know if you would.
It's involving listening, though.
Yeah, but history isn't a listening check. That would be like a perception or an insight, right? 17. Yeah, you do recall from long ago seeing a similar scripture, like a text that was illegible to you, and you remember asking your master about it and getting only vague answers, and it's something that's always perturbed you, but it absolutely seems familiar, and equally as ancient as when you had previously seen it in the White Sea where you came from. You're remembering now all of the things that they didn't share with you, like, as well as all of the things that they did, as you guys are beating the crap out of the ground. So you brought this up like probably before you started to dig, I'm assuming, but yeah, you're loosely familiar with, you've seen this before. And Dalt is, she starts to like walk over towards the hole, and she's just like, wait, what? Like, the sky? Like in the clouds? And she's asking like 20 questions, like completely freaking out. And she's like, there's no way. And like Samia is like, yeah, he told me all about it. Like, there's apparently like a whole ocean up there. And and Scarlet comes back in. She's like, you see, can't believe everything, and some things you should believe even if they're unbelievable. Like, Bang D Boom specifically is like he's like looking at some of the other cacti and some of the other rocks and stuff like that. He's just like, yeah, you guys let me know if you just want me to, like, you know, blast, but I'm not gonna shoot my cannon while y'all are down there. And he's confused that there's no pockets to be ran right now. Dill, what are you investigating? The text, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Even if I give you advantage on that, unfortunately, you are not you're not able to read it. With a 19, sell me on how you might have seen this before. Give me your best pitch, and we'll see if I like it.
You ready?
I was born
So
ready.
once upon a time, so was I.
Bruh. Yeah, you might have seen the etchings in like a fever dream, and like maybe in a lab somewhere. You have no idea what the hell they say.
That works.
Yeah, and so Dalt is like, yeah, now that you mention it, I haven't really seen anybody else with 4 arms and blue skin, but you know, you do, you know, someone like you do really look like our Azrael here. And she kind of like laughs a little bit because you two have like the same like muscle structure a bit, except you got 4 arms and he's got 2. She's just like, wow, so this world is really full of a lot more than just what's here in the desert. And you can kind of remember, like, Scarlet kind of remembers asking if, you know, she would be down to, you know, come along for the ride and everything like that. She kind of see it on Dalt Wisney's face that she's kind of getting willed away and entertaining the thought a little bit more and more. Russ, however, is like getting a little bit more nervous, and he's just kind of staying away and in the corner and like watching, you know, out. He's just like sitting on a rock over here, just kind of like tapping his toe, looking nervous. He does a thing where he like eats more dirt. And then he like licks his finger and like holds it up to try to test the wind and everything like that. And he's just like, why is there no wind? This is insane. After about like I said, like half hour, 45 minutes of just absolutely ripping into the ground here, like in a parallel to the well, you guys will in fact strike water. You are easily about 80 feet down. This took you guys some time. Ragnar, Lord Azrael, you can climb and you can swim, so you're in no worry whatsoever. But as soon as he sees the water, Big Azra, his eyes go wide and he's like, what? No way, that's and he tugs on the rope. He's like, yo, get me out of here. And like, you can kind of like see without even needing an insight, like your passive is probably fine enough, Ragnar, you notice a bit of panic over this big, seemingly fearless man's face, that harkens back to like when his sword disintegrated. You haven't seen him panic a lot, but that was the last time you did. And you remember that, like, yeah, these nomads were told for a long time that water is cursed here. And so, like, it might be a superstition, it might not be, but he started to freak out for a little bit, and then they start tugging him back up. I'm assuming you're sticking at the bottom of the well, though. All right, so you're going for a swim. Wonderful. Ragnar didn't torture in science. Get that tattooed on your abundant knuckles. Like Law has like, you know, on his, but you have like twice as many knuckles as he does. Like, I think that'd be
You'll
sick.
have to find the license plate, like vowel-less abbreviation.
Bro, I love that. But yeah, so the rest of the crew here, Bang D Boom, Russ will even get up, and then you know, all of the other people will start to like try and like pull Big Azra up out. This dude weighs like almost, he weighs a shit ton, but yeah, they can hoist him up out of there, and he's kind of like a heavier breath and whatnot. He said just in case. Yeah, you're gonna notice when you plunge into the water and whatnot, it is rich with minerals and sediment, and it seems to be like revitalizing almost. And you're actually going to get 5 temporary hit points. So cool. That's great. It seems to be like a tight fitted like for you because you're huge. Not literally huge like in D&D mechanics, but you're huge, you know. It's a pretty tight fit, but there seems to be like an aquifer like that is running, obviously, you know, to the well, and then much deeper down underneath, far underneath everything above, and it is very chilled down here. You're about 80 feet plus below where the sun can bake the surface. So there's like no residual heat that can penetrate down here. No light either. Do you have dark vision? That is a good question. I think you do, just by being a fishman, right? You do. Okay, cool. Yeah, he definitely does have dark vision. Yeah, so your medicine check, like preemptively to get yourself ready, you're noticing it was a bit premature, as like this water seems to like literally have like revitalized you almost, and you're feeling like a lot more tip top. I'm gonna hit the long rest button on your sheet because you should be at full health. There you go, bro. And then I'll throw in your 5 temp HP for you. Okay, I'm just double checking your sheet, making sure everything's good. I need to fix something on your sheet here in a bit, but I'll do that later tonight. But yeah, so you're underneath it all, and you can get to where you notice the water seems to be there's like another parallel pathway that leading up, and you can see just a ton of like very thick. Can you hear me?
Not you, my bad.
Okay, my bad. Yeah, you're noticing just a thick, dense, like almost like a wall. It's actually like a ceiling, you know, because you're going from underneath upwards, up this like parallel, like where the well is. But it is like a wall of roots that are like so tangled up, and it is ridiculously dense. And you can see them dipping into the water and anchoring into the like, yes, it is the mother lode down here. And I'm assuming you have your sickle with you, even, so you're primed and ready. Everyone over here is like, hey, we should probably back up in case this goes terribly wrong. And they're all like kind of like getting over here and like hiding behind some debris and stuff like that. I don't know if Davos or like Dill, like what y'all's plans are, but yeah, everyone's just kind of like hiding behind some rocks and stuff like that and ducking down and taking cover, at least like 3/4 cover for everybody. Davos is just kind of out in the open. There you go.
Yeah,
he's like, good idea. This is where we will roll a nature, Lord Azrael, and also a D100, and based off of that, I'm gonna come up with some findings here with what's going to happen. But I'm gonna need a nature and D100, and there's actually quite a bit potentially riding on this.
Did you say that's just for Azrael?
Yeah, for Lord Azrael, because he's the one. I'm assuming he's going and trying to chop at these roots from underneath and harvesting them, as they are the more medicinal parts. And once the roots are no longer anchoring things, it might be easier to harvest the full plant and whatnot. But a 55 is just slightly above average, so that's fine. I'm also going to need a nature, if you would. Samia is just like, oh, I'm gonna get like super far back because I can't get hit by these. Like I'm one of the only people who can treat it. Oh, I see it. Yeah, my bad. 19 on nature. So yeah, you do ridiculously well at knowing kind of like where to cut and things like that to not disturb the stalks like themselves, and only to get the roots like so that they are no longer anchored to the wall and things like that. You can. I'm gonna DM you a number of pounds right now. That is a good amount there, and you're able to do this with just enough finesse to not trigger any of the. This would cause like a bit of a chain reaction if you were to mess up, and obviously that would be bad for anybody exposed to these things. You're able to get it done delicately enough. What would be the rest of your plan once you've got them unanchored? Also, is anybody else here trying to do anything else on the map while we're waiting for that?
I mean, if no one else is going to, I would like to mark my territory on the pyramid.
You're just gonna take a whiz on the pyramid?
Yeah.
Crazy. Are you at least gonna go around the corner, or are you doing this right in front of the ladies, bro?
No, I'm gonna go around the corner. I'm civilized.
Dalt is like, wow, he's been down there for a couple of minutes, but we haven't really seen anything, you know, trigger the like. And she's like, she like goes over to like Bang D Boom and Scarlet, and she's like, so you're sure that your friend can breathe underwater? Because like, I'm sure you know your friend, but I've never seen anything like that. Like that's like a superpower, right? And Bang D Boom's like, yeah, he should be fine. And Scarlet's like, most definitely. Like, and they're just confident in their brother in arms, brother with arms, tons of arms. Sorry, stream, if you guys can hear my dog snoring. It is very loud. You're wondering, they are living things. To paralyze the plant. So within D&D mechanics, you know, I guess that would make all sense if these were like sentient, right? But it's triggered by like vibrations. It's not like mechanically like a reaction per se, like that they would only have like the ability to do once per 6 seconds. It's like an instantaneous effect once like a certain threshold of vibration is met, and then they can't do it again until their needle regrows. So as far as like like paralyzing it or anything like that. There wouldn't necessarily be like a way of doing that. What you could do is like maybe try to like while everyone's hiding, like trigger the chain reaction. But you would lose all the needles and you wouldn't be able to like until the needles grow back. They wouldn't have any of the like the active like poison injectors. But there's still poison within the stalks that the needle comes from, right? But it takes him a while to reload. But yeah, you definitely notice that like things didn't shift. Like the arms of the cacti have like grown so like tight against the well that like even now they're not anchored. It's not like they like shifted, especially not enough to like have triggered the chain reaction or anything like that. But yeah, everyone here seems to be a little bit stumped as to how to try to harvest the full plant. Although you have done a very great job of harvesting the root, which to Samiya is the most valuable part. Although I know you have ulterior motives. Yeah, as far as shields, we have brother Davos who has a shield, that's for sure. And then there's like the big like sundial, which is like a sword and a shield, right? Like you do have a couple shields, that is true. And there is also a large amount of rope. So you could potentially like I'm assuming you're wanting to like swim back over to the other column, climb back up the newly dug hole, and then try to like hoist them up from the top while covering it with shields. I'm not sure. Like it would be difficult to do it from the bottom. It'd probably be easier from the top now that you've unanchored them. I'll say you also get that off of your pretty decent nature roll. Yeah, this is like an aquifer, but definitely not it's like an underground river, but it's not like the river that they were wanting to go to. You're still a little bit away from that.
I know one thing. I'm making a river.
Bruh. You spell out your name? He's
Yeah,
just,
I put it all on the side, on the
he's
front
just
levels.
carving a 4-letter word over there. Like, So he's resurfacing, okay? And you're explaining the idea to everyone to see what they think. He has plenty of shields, and y'all do have plenty of rope. Between the manpower that we've got here, you guys would definitely be able to get the job done. Big Azrael is game. He's super down for it. And he's just like, yeah, that's fine. I can make you more shields as well if this doesn't go too well. But you know, the needles, you know, they're sent out pretty fast and they're pretty sharp. But even, you know, a plank of wood should be able to, like, for the most part, you know, deter almost all of them. It's just there's the occasional one that's, you know, slightly more thin than the rest, and those shoot out with a higher, you know, projectile velocity. You want to definitely be careful of those, but these all seem pretty mature. He's like, I'd say that these haven't been really messed with in quite some time. And he like slaps you on the back, Lord Azrael, and he's just like, yeah, good job down there, you know, but yeah, you guys are able to like kind of facet everything together, tie the rope around and whatnot, and it really all that it would take is one good tug. Like or you know, he actually recommends that if he can jimmy the rope down the side of the well, like if you're able to like go back down really quickly and like, you know, tie it to something down below, like a shield down below, that would make it easier to pull it all up at once. So it would be like another quick dip and then a climb back up. And he's gonna try to finesse the rope down the side of it. Dope. yeah, it takes another like chunk of time, obviously. But you guys are going to have a pretty solid idea of what to do. Now it's just all about the finesse. And I don't know how finesse the two of you are, but I'm going to need. I will give you both advantage, but both of the Azras are going to need to make just a dexterity check, like a flat dexterity check. Give me just a second. My shit crashed. Okay, so that is above average. Let's see how this guy does. Okay, yeah, that absolutely beats what I was aiming for, which was a collective 30. So that beat it by 1 point. Man, y'all are really pretty good tonight. So yeah, you guys both heave, and after getting everything like set up and all of the delicate work done, you are able to pull out just this massive, like 60+ foot column of a shit ton of what are referred to colloquially as crazy cacti. And it's like extremely difficult once like a lot of it is pulled up out of there, because you don't want it to like tilt too much to either side and things like that. And yeah, like it's a lot of oh bro, this weighs a shit ton. You are not going to be able to carry all of this just because of like you're gonna have to kind of like take what you can, but like you have to store these extremely delicately if you're going to be moving them as well, because the second they get vibrated too much, they will like burst out like pin cushions, you know. Yeah, so Bang D Boom does have his extremely deep pockets, and you guys are able to like kind of fashion some cloth and ropes and like these like little like mechanisms to get a few of the like a good amount of like this is going to take a significant amount of time if you're trying to get the several hundreds of pounds worth of cacti all bundled up, but basically like some shock absorbing like padding, and then throwing them into some of the deep pockets, or like saddling them up onto the side of the camels. And Dalt Wisney's like talking to the camels is like, okay, so you guys need to be like extremely careful, like one wrong step, and you know these cacti are definitely trouble, but I believe in you. And she like gives them all inspiration. All the camels are like super down for business and whatnot, but yeah, it is several hundreds of pounds worth here, and it will take you likely all day if you're trying to harvest all of this. But I mean, it just depends on how fixated Lord Azrael is right now on this. You do also recall Samia and Dalt telling you there's a lot more of these within the cactus belt. It's only rare to find them like outside of the cactus belt, but if you were to go into the cactus belt, there is a ton of these that would probably be more easily harvestable. And then I would say once the giant column of cactus arms like interweaving and interlocking is like hoisted outwards, anybody wanna what's the highest passive perception? I think it might be Davos.
Minus 14.
14. Then I think it is.
Someone's is 15.
It's Scarlet's. Okay, so Scarlet is kind of able to see with her 15, because that is exactly what needs to be hit. She sees a little tiny wooden box intermingled in some of the cacti, and as you guys are like kind of peeling it apart very delicately and wrapping some of them up and things like that, I'll say that you can get like like 10 prime specimens, Lord Azrael. But you're running out of rope and other things to kind of absorb the vibrations and things like that after a while, and it's just too dangerous to carry these around while they're like fully loaded. But you can get 10 full specimens, plus all of the roots that I sent you. Dope. And yeah, when you guys do, Scarlet's just like, ho ho ho, I spy with my little eye, and she like looks and she's just like, there be treasure. And Bang D Boom is extremely excited at the sound of that. And there is a little tiny treasure chest that you guys are able to kind of like get out from within the tangled mess here. And there's like the whole like Legend of Zelda build up, like music as the camera pans wide around, and you get the whole da 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 da, and there's like gold, like almost golden shining rays coming out of it as Scarlet pops it open, and you all see a piece of paper.
Real with you? You want to smoke another blunt? I'm so dead ass right now.
We're getting some background noise, bro.
Yeah, man.
But yeah, you guys are able to see a piece of paper, and if I open it up, let's see if this like shows it on stream. It does not. Let me show 2 players. Yeah, I think that works. Boom. Yeah, you're able to see what looks to be a very, very old map that was waterlogged and has been like it's probably as old as like everything around you right here. And immediately you guys recognize the name Live Neil on the bottom half of it. And Davos will obviously be able to tell, as this is his homeland, that this is kind of in the shape of Live Neil. But it's actually 2 separate land masses. And you can see the Skeleton Coast written above the top.
He's looking at it. He's like, Skeleton Coast, Tandara. What is that?
And
it's
yeah,
all green. I've never seen a map where everything's green. And look at the mountains. Where are the mountains? It's all inlets.
And yeah, this definitely looks reminiscent of the shape of like the Live Neil that you know today. But there's a lot that isn't correct. And yeah, you can do a history, Davos, because you're from the south side. And you didn't like straight go to the college proper, but you know, you've been around for a while. But you could absolutely do a history for me, Davos, and we'll see how much more you can glean off of this.
Check. Is my audio for this right now?
He's here.
Hey, we can hear you. Yeah.
For this role. Hey.
Let me turn you up. But yeah, we can hear you.
Alright, that's great.
Welcome. Good to hear ya.
All right, yeah, you should be turned all the way up now.
My earpiece is already dead. I'm about to charge them.
With a 15, you are going to be able to tell that this easily has to be hundreds, like over 500 years old, probably, if this is factual, or this is a straight work of fiction, because you've heard tales of people getting lost in the mountains that are a couple hundreds of years old and things like that. Like there's a rich history of Live Neil, but again, all of the history you've heard of Live Neil until recently has been of the south half, and everything that you've heard about the top half is like curses this, curses that, bounty hunters, pirates. It's, you know, like it's a dangerous place and things like that. And you also remember hearing that there's been a drought, and reportedly that drought has been, you know, for over a couple hundred years as well. So if the land that is supposed to be now the north half of Live Neil is lush and green on this map, this would have obviously been before the drought. And you do know a thing or two about how mountains are formed. And so it would make sense that two land masses, you know, converging for hundreds of years would form what you now know as the Walking Mountains. But this map seems to predate that even, and everyone can plainly see that there's like a big red X also somewhere along what is called the Skeleton Coast.
This is very interesting. Does this strike any of you nomads? Do you know anything about this land, Tundara? Is that what this land is famously known as?
We like Dalt Wisney kind of like walks forward, and she's just like, there's been a lot of like mythology like that we were told by Baba is all completely fabricated myths, like, you know, like there's no this desert used to be. And she like looks a little bit confused, and she's like, we were definitely told that the reason why there's so many pirates that seek out these lands is because there's apparently a some sort of map. And then Azra, like big Azra, like turns around. He's just like, there's no way. You think this could actually be it? And she's like, well, I mean, it's just too convenient, because didn't she call it the skeleton key? And he's just like, wow, you're really smart. That makes total sense. And like and yeah, like she's just like, there's a lot of different myths, you know, nobody really knows what's true and what's not. I don't really think you know, any of us believe in any of them, but it was told that wars were fought here hundreds of years ago, searching for some great treasure. Some people thought it was like the Fountain of Youth, and some people thought it was like a gate of the underworld. Some people thought it was like a stairway to heaven. Some people like there's so many different conflicting mythologies. Like we all really just kind of brushed it off as nonsense. And Samia is like going goo goo over all of the roots that Lord Azrael got. So she's not even like But I know that for sure Bang D Boom and Scarlet are super excited as they hear the words great treasure.
I think we should go find that X marks the spot in between the two mountains.
I love
I'll
this.
be right back with you, Samia. I'll walk over to the crew. I said, something occurred to me. In every evidence of a pyramid I've ever seen, they're usually quite much bigger than this. Like, very much so bigger than this. There might be more to this structure, but underground.
This guy with the 14 head over here. Azra just kind of looks at you. He's just like, so you're saying we should do some more digging? And he's like flexing his arms a little bit and stretching, and he's just like,
Well, I'm saying there's a chance I could enter through the side, maybe, if we swim through the aqueduct, and maybe hit a wall from underneath all the earth already.
And he just kind of like whips out like a map, yeah, he has like a cursory map of the deserts and like the north half of Livneal. That's like, it's just kind of like so maps are like, as you're noticing, like a lot of them are inaccurate of the north half, because there's some like general fuckery that happens with landmarks and even the coastlines and things like that. But he's like, this is you know, one of our more recent maps from our travels when we hit the base of the mountains a couple weeks ago before returning to the port. And based off of, you know, our travel patterns and whatnot, and if that's the red spine, and he points, he's like, we're right here right now, ish, give or take a couple of miles in any direction, but we're nowhere near that X. That's like on the other side of the Nokawata here. Like we're still in the Red Sand Desert. Like we're a couple days away from where that X is. What do you think we would find here?
I get that, but I think that's where the big treasure of this island is. So I think that's where we should make our heading to in the future. Not right now.
I say we make a riverboat. Well, if you're planning for that, I say we make a riverboat, sail around the edges of the island. I trust the helmsman in getting us there at least, and then we start making our way through all those small islands until we find that spot. If we're thinking about just
Yeah, but we have nowhere near enough supplies with us right now. That means we'd have to leave and come back, and who's to even say this place will still
we
be
can't
here?
do it. This is not for right now. Well, for right now, we're here
I will be
at
right
some
back.
ancient spot. But future-wise, we can definitely plan for the future. I'm pretty sure
Yeah.
Magni Boo will have some ideas for us by then.
Yeah, and Dalt Wisney, she just chimes in. She's just like, yeah, but this place wasn't here when Davos and I like it's there's something wrong about like the terrain over here. Like he makes a good point. What's to even tell us that we could get back here? Like
I
as
agree.
the
So while
sun
we're
is
here,
like
we should.
beaming down right over top of all of you.
Oh, I see. We have limited time. I have this. Can I roll? Maybe. Is there something for instinct? So I don't
Ins-
say this out of my ass.
Insight.
Alright.
Yeah, you're good.
I have a feeling if we don't explore this pyramid right now, we're losing a once in a lifetime opportunity to get. I don't know, something. There's. I feel there's more to this. We have to find the entrance to this pyramid while we can, at least.
And like all the nomads are kind of like looking at each other, and they're just like, "Well, we were told that the water is cursed, you know, our whole life, and like you seem to be doing fine, but none of us can really swim, like that."
As a scientist, I refuse to believe in curses. There must be practical evidence.
Didn't you say that it was a curse whenever you saw Baba, you know, getting choked by all the golden sand?
I said it was. This was against Davy Loans. So that the gold, yes, I believe in that one. But the water, there's no practical evidence. The gold, yes. The water, no.
It's like, well, I mean, if anyone else can swim, but like none of us have really ever like, and Russ is like over in the corner like shaking, and he's just like, no, I can't do it. I can't do it. And Big Azra is just like, I'm pretty sure I'll sink like a rock if I'm being honest. And
So what? Instead of swimming, we could start trying to dig from the top. It would take longer for sure. What do you guys say?
yeah, like Big Azra is just like, I mean, yeah, we could try digging more, but hear me out. Like, I don't know. Like I've been thinking this sundial, and he like waves the big gigantic freaking like rock at the end of his sword in front of your face. He's just like, I feel like this is important, right? I'm just not really sure how, but Dalt, you seem to be able to like read some of what's on the pyramid here. See if you could figure out like
Oh,
its significance.
did I actually give them any help with the translation for the stuff that I knew about it?
No, you recognize it, but there's no way that you're able to understand it. But she starts like kind of feeling around and looking and things like that, and she's gonna give one of the most clutch possible investigation checks of the whole campaign so far. Let me roll that real quick.
This all hangs on.
I'll give her
NPC
advantage.
roll.
Yeah, I'll give her advantage. And let's do.
Yo, can I give guidance? I'm gonna cast guidance. I'm gonna cast guidance.
So
Does
what is
that
it, a
help?
D4? Yeah, it's like a D4, right? Yeah, okay, let me roll a D4. Not bad. Okay, so that's like a 15. A 15 is almost what I was looking for, so she's gonna find out some things, but not everything. She is gonna be like, yeah, so it just mentions the sun, and some god and something about winds, something about time, and I keep seeing the name LxrD. And she's just like, oh, I see sword right here. Like she's like, I can't really make out the full sentences, but I can see some of the words. Then she's like kind of like still like stumbling around, tiptoeing over cacti and shit like that. And she like really takes some time to study all of it and everything like that. And she's like, I think I might have figured it out. I'm gonna roll an insight now to see if that's enough information for her to be confident in this.
Well, if you want to, I think the guidance lasts for a minute.
It's only a one-time use. Oh, hell yeah, let's go. Okay,
God
so
damn, that was perfect.
yeah, she's just kind of like yeah, I think I got it. So this I don't know, hear me out, but like if there is some curse or like blessing or whatever tricking the land and things like that, I think it does have something to do with that sundial. And since you know, ripped it out, like, I don't know, hear me out, but maybe we only saw this place because, and she points straight up, she's like, it's about high noon. The sun beating right down on the sundial. Maybe that's like the trick. And if the sundial is gone, maybe like whatever spell is affecting this place is lifted. I know I sound crazy right now, right? But like, we gotta believe the unbelievable. And she like looks at Scarlet. And
if I understood, there's weepers. Me and Azrael found it, so the person who left here is a weeper.
it's like, well, I mean, and the thing is even if the sundial didn't really break the spell or anything like that, maybe all we have to do is try coming back to this spot or this area at high noon. It's worth a shot, right? Like, who knows?
I agree. I say we mark this spot down on the maps, and then we see if we can return to it on a different day. If it works, we figure it out. If it doesn't, we might have lost this place forever. But I look at Davos. Damn, Davos, you really know how to pick them.
Bruh. Massive bruh.
What?
Yeah, you know what I mean.
Oh my goodness. But yeah, so if you guys have spent like several hours here, you just like doing the absolute most, but it's been like a good amount of time. Like as you guys are like woke up in the early morning, you know, and got here, closer to like noonish. Some time has passed, and it is the blistering hot midday at this point. Let me lift you up to a higher layer, Dill, so you're not covered by the yellow. There you go. But yeah, like any last checks or investigations or insights or interactions or anything like that, or are y'all wanting to head out and try to revisit this place another day?
I'm gonna do a sick backflip off this pillar.
He said, I'm gonna do a sick backflip. Okay. Roll me an acrobatics like DC 12. Yeah, that absolutely is a sick backflip. 100%. I see Balincc in the chat like, what could this be? Like, that is hilarious. But yeah, wow. I'm assuming with that though, you guys are all ready to embark and complete the rest of your journey to go absolutely fuck up the Glasshouse Pirates for just existing, right? Or the bounty hunters, I'm sorry.
This man said for existing.
I think so.
That's easy.
Because they actually didn't really do anything wrong until y'all gave up on their turf, but...
Yeah. They could just kind of stink, though. They're kind of the worst.
Yeah, And maybe they have their hand in some of the fishy business.
Can I make a guess about something? Dalt Wisney is an animal, a camel trainer, as well as a scholar.
She is a nomad speaker, she's being trained to be the next speaker of the tribe. That's what you've heard her say multiple times. You can assume that it's not just like a public speaker, but obviously like a speaker in a broader term, right? Like not like a subwoofer, but like somebody who can speak to, not just humans, maybe. Like that I won't even make you roll insight for. You've seen it in action at this point, multiple times.
True.
And you've also noticed some similarities. You just realized it's Dalt Wisney.
No, I know what she might be. That's what I'm saying. She might. This is just over the table, by the way. She might be a three-eyed tribe member.
Interesting. Why'd you just turn yourself sideways?
Yeah, because that's me cocking my head in real life. Oh.
Wonderful.
So, Dill's just like laying down.
It's like Luffy, Zoro, and Sanji when they're all standing next to each other and they're like, huh? And they move their hands. No.
But yeah, if
me and Samia will just be nerding out in the background about the cactus.
Yeah.
Everybody else can just keep doing it.
She's just like, wow, this is actually gonna be crazy. This is revolutionary. Like I've never seen so much of this root. I can make, And she's like, I think with this I could probably make, a more potent, potion to, help like counteract that. Like she's like, this can honestly help with literally almost any of the poisons and venoms throughout the this is one of the most like hard to procure ingredients that does a lot of things with this amount. This is insane. And she's literally like goo eyes at the stash that you were able to finesse from the bottom of the well there. So yeah, everybody's like super
boy hears about this.
Yeah, everybody's like super freaking happy about everything here. I think Bang D Boom is maybe a little bit fixated on the map a little bit, as well as Scarlet. Bang D Boom's also looking at the sundial and the sword a little bit, and I think he might even try to like see if he's got the biceps enough, because he was like using birds as weapon last time as well.
I'm gonna cast the help spell.
Okay, you're gonna cast the help spell. Let me hit the advantage button. You're like, you got this, buddy. And oh no. No.
Well,
it seems nobody is really able to wield this weapon quite like Big Azrael, and even Big Azrael is having some trouble with it. You know what I mean?
Can I try to?
Only me and Azrael could use it in the first place.
What were you saying, Dill? Sorry.
I was wondering if I can sort of try to dexterously use the sword.
There ain't no way. This is not a finesse weapon, bro.
Let me ask a question. If I, because you said only me and Azrael could use it. If I use this weapon, would I have to use all 4 arms?
You would have to use all 4 arms, and it would still be.
So
bro, it's like a DC.
Shield.
It's like a DC 22 just to. Oh, so that's close, but not it. But it is like a near impossible DC. It's not quite impossible, but the thing is like, it's not gonna be easy at all. This would be like for most people that aren't like either of the Azras, this would be like in Pokemon Solar Beam, you gotta like charge up the strike, and it would basically be 2 turns for a single attack unless you're like built like that. If you want to try and roll athletics, Lord Azrael, go ahead, let's see it.
Can I argue advantage on this since I'm a barbarian?
If you rage,
argue you get advantage because I'm coming up behind you and saying you got this, buddy.
If you rage, it will have advantage regardless.
That's right now. I'm going to a raid. Shadow.
Not
Rage.
sponsored.
Rage.
Hashtag not sponsored.
No. Just regular rage.
Oh my god, you're 1 point shy, bro. That's crazy. Wait, that was an attack. No, that was that was a revolver.
Oh,
Yeah,
that was my revolver.
No,
My
roll in
athletics is way
athletics.
worse than my revolver. Trust me.
Yeah, so I don't think that works if we just change the modifier. I'll be generous and give you another roll.
Let's go. Athletics.
No, sir. Sorry.
Oh my god.
So yeah, only Big Azra is able to comfortably wield this weapon.
Wait, I forgot. Wait. I cast guidance on myself. Can I roll a d4?
So I don't know how like rage and spell casting works. I'm gonna say no.
Oh yeah. Yeah, you can't concentrate on spells while you're raging.
You're right.
Yeah. There's some kind of some wire crossing there with the mechanics. It's not gonna. An 18 is a valiant effort. You also just rolled an Arcana or Engineering to no avail for some reason. But
No, that was just accident. That was me quitting.
If there's anything else anyone wants to say before y'all head out, this has been a very eventful location here.
I look at Bang D Boom. I said I am quite handicapped without my number one weapon that I gave you 2 weeks ago, Bang D Boom.
Your number one weapon.
Well, I have a lance that I received from our former teammate a long time ago, and I gave it to Bang D Boom to turn it into a bisecting lance. I've been waiting for it ever since. Been weeks.
He's like, oh yeah, like that thing's back at the workshop.
No problem.
He's like, I've been working on the ship. What do you want from me? Like, you know,
I understand. When T was running down, I understand.
He's like, look, I can't like work miracles, but I'm getting on it. You know, like, but you know, building a sand ship, bro.
Look at Davos right after that and see how my tears are drying up. Good choice, Davos. You know how to pick him.
Why do you keep saying that?
Don't worry, I know what I'm talking about. I went to Ragnar then.
You're just hitting random buttons now, bro. But
Bro, this is me just traveling through my character sheet. This has happened, okay?
this is hilarious. But let me do a thing real quick. Oh, I'm on the wrong one. Let me. So I'm assuming we are heading out after all of this, right?
Towards the glass house, yes.
Towards like the river, I assume. Because like that was the way that Adult Wisney was saying would be the smartest.
Yes.
Wait! I just realized something. Could I? Oh my God, Rex! Could I use my water skin to collect the water that the roots were in this entire time for I don't know how long?
Yeah, you could have absolutely done that while you were down there. I'm not gonna.
You said when I went into the water, I felt rejuvenated or something, bro. How did I not pick up on that? I'm so stupid. I collect the water.
Yeah, you could actually like fill up like everybody here's got a water skin. I'm assuming, right?
I believe so. I believe all of it.
Yeah, so everybody here will have water skins filled by their brother-in-arms, Lord Azrael. If you use a full action to douse yourselves with this water and like take a chug and stuff like that, you can get 5 temporary hit points, but it's a one-time thing.
There it is.
So that's a solid pull there. Absolutely.
Is there enough to do that and still have
My
enough
brain?
for one?
I don't know what happened. I had a brain booger when this happened. I just remember that you said that.
Within one simple water skin, it would literally just be like one like you know like a like Flash dance or whatever when it's like he's a maniac. You gotta like coat yourself with it like Azrael did when he was down there like submerged in it. Just drinking it is not going to be enough to give you like the medicinal benefits. You gotta like cover yourself in that.
Yo, I look at everybody. Nobody drink their water. Nobody use their water. Oh, we're gonna have problems. Just look at everybody and say this.
What?
But yeah, and like obviously the nomads are going to be a lot more skeptical of you know, they've been told for like most of their upbringings, and like as long as Azra's been on this island, shit's cursed, bro. So but you know, who knows, in a time of need that might save a life. So good shit there.
One man's curse is another man's cure.
Well, this guy's a poet, and he didn't even know it. But as you guys are heading out on Camelback, I didn't feel like putting all the camels here. They're just chilling. They're just shooting the shit. They're just chewing on like random fucking things on the ground. Like, but there is just enough camel space for everybody to be able to pull out of here on Camelback. And give me just a second. Drag y'all back to the big map. Let me fix that on stream. Oh, it's fixed. All right, cool. So you guys had ventured, it would be in this direction to about there where the ruins were, and you know that it's a less than a 30-minute, you know, like full foot race, you know, all the way to where the river was. As you guys start heading out further into the opening and away from the red spine, something doesn't seem right to Davos and Dalt Wisney once again. Dalt Wisney is just like she kind of like halts the camels and everything comes to a full stop, and she's just like, wait, this Davos, this doesn't seem right? Like this is crazy again. And she notes that it seems that the river has moved.
This can't be happening.
And yeah,
This
she's
is starting to make it personal.
Wait,
And
I thought we
do I
knew that
notice
the river
big
shifted in
holes?
this desert.
I couldn't hear you, Ragnar. What was that?
Oh, I think at some point, maybe I don't know if everyone was informed of this, but at some point when we were asked, when Dill was asked about traversing the desert, I thought of the idea of making a riverboat to travel to the center of the island, and that's when we were informed by somebody, I don't know who, but the rivers on this island constantly shift in the desert.
And then yeah, like Adult Wisney's like, yeah, I mean that's something we as nomads definitely are told, like right away, don't trust the river lines, but overnight, there's no way. Like this does, I've never seen it happen this quickly. Like, and she's like, there's really something strange going on today. I think we should be on high alert. This is this again, this might be why Baba told us to stay away from over here. She's like, what is the glass house? Like, do they have something to do with all of this? And yeah,
Perhaps we're already in the glass house.
No, not again, Jutsu.
bro. But you guys kind of tread more lightly instead of going like full speed ahead, you know, and are advancing, and you recognize, Davos, the dried up riverbed that you had your encounter in. Do you stop to investigate a bit?
Yeah, let's check it out. I'll at least get close enough to notice anything strange.
Yeah, and the camels have to slow down here anyways to kind of clop across on like some of the rockways and whatnot. I actually deleted that map, so I don't have that one ready, but it's fine. You are going to find that barrel is empty.
No, great. I knew this barrel wouldn't stop him. Why did I stuff him in that barrel?
Bro. The amount of One Piece laughs we've had in this stream has been great. Dalt Wisney goes over and pats you on the back. She's like, "Hey, don't be too hard on yourself. I thought, I thought it seemed like the right thing to do too. Like, we're not,
It was
cold-blooded.
humane, right? It was
We're
humane.
not cold-blooded killers. We gave him a chance to repent, right? Or like, I think that's the word. Maybe he wisened up. And...
I look at Davos and say, moments like this, you call me Davos.
So if we see this guy, you're just gonna kill him?
Well, not immediately, no.
What?
I think we should let him work his magic to bring us to him.
Mm.
Who
Well,
knows?
that's one way
He
to look
was
at it.
in the mountains watching us the whole time, manipulating the sand.
Do you think we could track him down from here? He couldn't have gone far. It's only been a day. Well, almost a day.
Wait, what if he followed the others back to Port Scarletta?
Russ.
What do you think, Russ?
Yeah, Russ like
Can you
comes
track him?
forward and he's just like someone would say tracking, and he like kneels down and tastes the dirt again.
Oh my God.
And his
I thought
like
we went
eyes
over
narrow.
that doesn't actually help.
Sometimes it helps. It just didn't help that one time, okay? And he's like squatting down, and his eyes are narrowed, and like the wind is like flicking through like the feathers that he's got sticking out of his like headband, and he's just like yeah, that didn't help at all. But and he's like, I mean, I don't know. I've never if craters and ruins are popping up out of nowhere and even rivers are moving, I don't know how good of a trail I can track off of. He's like, oh, never mind, and he points and he's like, check it out, there's footprints over here, guys. Like, he's
Oh
like,
my God.
he's just like yeah, that was pretty easy. I think he went that way, and he points like towards the base of like some more mountains over to the north-ish to where you guys are. And he's like, I think I can see the river too. It's just bent the other direction. He's like, we're not far, but it looks like pretty rough terrain from here on out. And he looks at the camels as they're all finishing crossing like this dried up river gorge, like a riverbed, like and he's just like, yeah, we want to be pretty cautious in these rough terrains. A lot of animals like to, try to hide from the sun. He's like, but it's nothing we can't handle, right? And he like, he seems a little bit more upbeat and confident now that you guys are not like in a windless, like mysterious, like ancient ruins that he knows nothing about. He's more in his element out here in the wild,
Well, I trust him to lead the way. I think we should follow him. What do you guys think?
Yeah, we were looking for the river anyways, so we should definitely head there.
Absolutely.
And as you guys can see the river a little bit more distant, and obviously there's like difficult terrain, so you guys are gonna have to move a little bit more cautiously, and you're approaching but not close enough to the river for like clear sight. You can just like see that there's obviously something on the horizon. You notice a very, very like large series of cracks in the ground, and like rock fixtures that seem to be like split open, and you're able to see that there seems to be like chasms, like digging down like maybe as deep as that well or even further, but this area looks a lot more barren. The cacti here look a lot more brittle and dried out. None of them like the crazy cacti that you guys just interacted with. You guys are all down here at the bottom right. Let me fix the stream real quick. But yeah, the camels are gonna have again like a little bit of a slower time getting through all of this. But this little rough stretch is all that's in between you, well, that and a couple 100 feet of what seems to be smooth sails. That's all that's in between you guys and the river that will lead you presumably most of the way to and around the King's Coast and closer to the Glass House.
I'm not gonna lie, guys, I have an extremely intrusive thought right now that I really want to follow.
I want to hear it.
I want to jump down the crack.
Hey, yo, pause. Like, as you guys like kind of like slow down, and Dalt Wisney's like, you know, talking to the camels, she's like, okay, it's gonna be a bit of a jump, but I think if we all get off the camels, it'll make it a lot easier for them. And she points to like the stretch limo, like the long camel, like the camel, and she's like, but you could probably just, you know, walk right across, but for the rest of them, they're gonna need like a bit of time. And as she finishes her sentence, Davos and Dalt Wisney will hear a familiar laugh. And in the distance, there will be a gentleman who looks oddly familiar and fairly beat up, who hops on top of a rock over here, over yonder.
You found him.
And he's like, you've fallen right into my trap. And he's like, oh, there's a lot more of you. And he looks a little bit surprised. And he's like points his sword forward, and he's just like, oh well. You know, like he kind of does like a cursory glance and sees that Bang D Boom and Dill and Russ are like readying like their ranged weapons. I think those are the only ranged fighters currently here that are. I mean, you've obviously got like a gun, Lord Azrael, but he's noticing some of the quicker to react folk, and he lowers his sword down and like basically like points, and he just goes, now. And out of the blinding rays of the sun directly above you, an enormous bird that looks very familiar will like dive down. And this thing is way bigger than the previous ones. And it is going to attempt to swoop up.
I'm going to shout out, if I was going to make you live before, I'm definitely killing you now.
So this bird is going to attempt to swipe up a few individuals in its massive talons. This is the mama Rustwing Falcon. Y'all were fighting the babies before. So, yeah, we are going to, like, let's see, it's gonna be, like, I think it's gonna go for sure for,
Vex, do me a favor. It's not fair that this thing landed in front of us. We can't do us this, man. I'll trade places with him.
I mean, you could try and attack it, but this thing is, like, absolutely huge.
I just want to trade places with Russ. Like, the way we enter the map, at least trade places with Russ.
I mean, that's fine. Yeah, you can I'll drag him down and put you up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
But yeah, this bird is gonna grapple off with a few people. So let's get some athletics checks. I will say, because it surprised you all, this thing does have advantage. Wow, so you are not grappled, but it is going to like buff right, like try to like buff right past you. You can get an opportunity attack.
Come here.
You are also not grappled. That's a miss. Sorry. Even with advantage. Dill, you can also get an opportunity attack as this thing flies right by. That is exactly what you needed to hit, so you can roll damage. You do have sneak attack. Jeez, what is this? Like a 18, that's 26 damage. That is a ton. As you mess up one of its legs. But its wings were flapping too fast. It's like on alert right now. It is now gonna try to grab at Russ and Dalt. which I will roll a. She's gonna do an acrobatics. She does not have advantage. All right. Oh wow. Okay. The Dull Wisney gets picked up. It's also swiping at Russ, who is very adamantly like screaming, like, "No, you're not getting my sister." Like he's like, let go, and then, like he's like trying to like
Do I have any discourse since I'm close by to like rush it?
You can run up on it and you can try and like attack and things like that, but it's like swiping and it grabs both of these two individuals in one of its talons.
Yeah, I guess let me just like run up on it. I wanna let me do like a flip, and I take the freshly reacquired quarter staff, and I want to smack it against the side of its head.
Yeah, so it's still like in flight. So I mean, you can run up on it, and I'll let you get an opportunity attack off as your reaction. Like, but it is going for like swooping up as many people as it possibly can.
Oh, so it's already like high in the air.
No, it's not. It's definitely down, but like you're able to reach it, but it's like still mid like swoop. So
Okay.
you get an, or you can get a reaction like attack, but that's like kind of all you can get. Let's see. Let's go. Scarlet's fine. So Scarlet is able to get out of the way. Let's see. I'll roll for the rest of the people in its like little warpath here. Oh, not looking good. Did you try to roll to attack if you were using your reaction, Davos? The other two have already ruled their attack.
Wait, how do I roll for reaction?
It's just a normal attack. Yeah, it's just a normal attack. Okay.
Word.
Oh wow, yeah, you hit.
A big old meaty thwap.
Gross.
Inside of his
12
face.
damage. Okay, so this thing has taken 38 points of assorted damage. That's crazy. Let's see, Samia. Oh, she's definitely gonna try this. Oh, cool. She didn't have advantage, but that's fine. She didn't need it. And then, yeah, it's not even gonna try with Big Azra. That guy's huge. You're able to thwack at it, and I'll say that Scarlet can also get an attack out. I'll roll that right now as a reaction as it leaves her space. That hits. Okay, cool. So this thing is still alive. Oh my god, but barely. Yeah, Azra is a little bit slower to react, but he's like wielding like the big thing. This thing is going to then like take flight, snatching up 3 individuals from your party. And it is going to start to raise up and it will go its full speed, like it's dashing basically. This thing is now 60 feet in the air up above all of you. And the other guy at the standing on the rocket, he's like, "But wait, there's more!" And he's going to like lift up both of his hands, and you will start to hear stomping from one direction, galloping from 2 other directions, buzzing coming from the cracks below, and chittering and things like that, as a ton of fauna all seem to be facing up and baring their teeth at you guys. Let me go ahead and reveal a few of them. And I think the loudest of the things that you can hear currently is that there is a large feline growl that seems to echo for just such a crazy distance as everything starts to converge and emerge onto the scene. A large lion will leap onto this rock fixture right here and roar. You will see wasps, scorpions, spiders, snakes, a fucking giraffe, just tons of enemies all barreling in towards you, massive ants and things like that. This is like a full, like, assorted stampede, and we will actually call it here, as a few of your crewmates have been swooped up into the air and are being lifted away and taken off to new heights. You all.
Davos is seeing this and he just goes, "You know what? I think they're safest with the bird."
Oh my goodness. So yeah, this is crazy. We will figure out initiative off stream, and then we obviously are going to have one hell of a session next week. This is crazy. Like, oh man. Let me just fix so there's you can see like a long necked giraffe over in the distance. You can see a bunch of buggies and like snakes and things like that climbing out of the crevices. You can hear just like massive stampeding footfalls in the distance from behind where he's at, and then front and center is this big giant lion thing that just roared at y'all. As well as the big ass falcon that just swooped up a lot of your crew. Dalt Wisney, Russ, and Bang D Boom have been snatched and are being carried away into the sunlight way up above. You guys used some of your reactions, and like I said, like, this guy's kind of moving slower than he normally can because of his massive like haul that he's got. The camels are all like falling back and retreating and getting behind all of you guys, and Dalt like yells out, and she's just like oh, take care of them, like, Davos, Scarlet, I believe in y'all. And like, she's like, don't worry about us, we'll be fine. It's probably only gonna try to feed us to its babies.
Don't worry, I think we made chicken wings out of its babies. We'll see you soon.
And this is where we will call it. Holy shit. Right almost on time too, so that's crazy. I know that last little bit was a bit more fast paced there, but you guys did all get chances to break out of the grapple. That bird absolutely had enough strength to swoop up almost every single one of you, except for probably Big Azra, except for probably both of the Azras, I would say. And Dill did mess up its talons, one of its talons, which actually like significantly helped. I will say. So that is session 10. Jeez, what a session indeed. You guys got some lore, you got some booty. Pause. You got some
Oh really?
You traveled. Yeah, y'all got the map. You guys traveled quite a bit, learned quite a bit. This is a good shit. And next time we will obviously have the party kind of split up again, as we kind of figure out how they get out of this mess. The two separate factions here. I'm gonna go ahead, and if you guys had anything you wanted to say real quick, go ahead. I'm going to find the cover story, and I'll be reading that in just a moment.
Yeah, I had one thing to say. We're gonna solve it by killing that fucking bird and getting back our fucking crewmates and our soon-to-be crewmates.
It's very ambitious of you. Anybody else, anything you want to say about tonight's session or just in general to the chat while we have them?
Oh, to the chat while you have me, my phone's about to die. Live long and prosper.
Chat, if you're listening to this right now, repent.
Repent? Oh my god. What about you, Mikey? You got anything you want to say?
Hey, it was a lot of fun. I'm really excited for what November will have in store for us for the Scarlet Pirates, and hoping to have our full crew back at full capacity next time. Chat, tell your friends about it. I love hanging out with you guys and playing some D&D with my wonderful, wonderful group too. Vex, thanks for hosting as always, man. This is really turning out to be a great part of the week to look forward to.
Super happy to hear that, man. Thank you. And yeah, thank you everybody in chat for sticking around. As your reward, I'm about to read the cover story. I just wanted to reiterate some announcements that I said at the beginning while we didn't have so many people watching. If you wanted to catch TLA live tomorrow, we will be going live with Andy Lex, Starnet Andy Lex, and Tated Marth around 5:30 p.m. EST. Definitely swing by if you can. We'll be trying to figure out some of what's going on with the more recent chapters. If TCB is dropped and our guests have read it, then we can talk about the new chapter, but it's probably going to be 1097 and before, I'm thinking. We've also got a feature this week. The four of the members of TLA will be on OPU on Marshall D. Preach's channel this Thursday at around 8:30 p.m. EST. So definitely check that out. And we also have a game show being hosted at 5 p.m. EST this Saturday. For more information on all of those wonderful things, you can check out the link in the description to the Discord, where we're constantly blowing y'all up about everything that we've got going on. It's a big week for us, and we've got more big things coming. So if you wanted to stay in the loop about all of that, please check out the links in the Discord. There's some wonderful content there for you with the other D&D groups. I'm going to then. I also wanted to say I'm going to be moving in about 2 weeks. So there's a chance that around the 20th, I forget which day it is, 20th, 21st, or something like that. It's whatever Tuesday that is. There is a chance we will be taking a break week, but I don't know yet. I'll keep you guys posted. I'll make a community post once I know more. I'm going to be moving that weekend, and I don't know if I'll be fully settled in by Tuesday. So we will play that by ear, but we will definitely be back next week in full effect. And I'll go ahead and read the cover story. Again, this was a cover story that was posted 2 weeks ago for our last session, not the SBS. And if you wanted to catch the one that was posted tonight, you got to check out the link in the description. Go to the Scarlet Pirates Twitter. This is the last session's cover story. The beginning of a bright and sunny day at Port Scarletta, with the sun barely peeking over the horizon, yet still beating down on the quiet and waking world below. Nestled in the most inland center of the Coldwater Cove, the port was one of the only areas on the coasts of North Livneal close enough to sea level for settling, but had the misfortune of being angled in between the rising cliffs that surround it so that the sun shines on it at virtually all hours of the day. Shade was as much of a commodity here as cold water, but both came second place to solid ground. The landscapes here all mostly temporary. Even the coasts seem to be rewritten sporadically, according to older maps and folklore. For centuries, no settlers were too keen to build on a foundation of sand, so instead they set up tents and collapsible buildings made of composite pieces of dovetailing woodwork and canvas partitions. Where the hell is everybody? A slurring and sloppy sir with sand in his beard and a misbuttoned shirt poked his nose out of the bar, scratching his head with a thick sledgehammer in one hand and using the other to swig from a nearly empty bottle. His heavy and flippant breath, paired with the whistling winds, hummed a bit of a low chaotic tune from within the bottle as it idled near his mouth. He wandered and wondered up and down the docks to each of the tents, searching for signs of life. The only remaining familiar faces all seemed to be unconscious still from the raging festivities of the night before. Well, guess I'll focus on my own work then. He pulls out a neatly folded and stainless piece of paper and peels it open. As he holds it aloft in front of the construction site, a marvel of stonework is depicted. He lowered the blueprints and the shell of a structure came back into view. He could see where the sand had shifted and edited his work as it does nearly every day, but showing no concern or signs of discouragement. He started hammering away. Alright guys, again, thank you so much for joining us. Can't wait to see you guys all next week. Y'all have a wonderful rest of your night. And just remember, group 2 solos.